po and opo in the Philippines. Respect is important in many, if not all, cultures. It is how we show our appreciation to the elderly who came before us, to those who we work with, and even more so, to our family and friends. This is no different in the Philippines. There are many ways to show respect in the Philippines, such as doing mano po to your elders, especially when just after a mass or after not seeing them for a long time. Addressing older people with polite nicknames such as ate and kuya, which meant big sister and big brother, respectively, even if they are not related to you at all. In the Philippines, this is a more polite way to address others other than hey or huy. But for today, we will talk about po and opo. Similar to its neighboring countries, Philippines attach a lot of importance to respect and politeness. One such way to do this is to use po and opo in our sentences. Po is a particle that doesn't have a direct equivalent in English and for the most part would be ignored in translations as it does not have a meaning of its own. However, when added in sentences, it makes the tone softer and sound more polite or courteous. Opo, on the other hand, is a more polite and respectful form of oo, which means yes in the Philippines. Children are taught to use these words very early on when conversing to those older than them to be seen as polite and respectful. It's like a badge of honor that you're properly taught and brought up by your parents as you know how to respect your elders. Similarly, if a child responds with an oo instead of an opo or doesn't use po in their sentences, it is considered rude and uneducated behavior. Why? Because as a child, you are putting yourself in the same level as your elders, disregarding the gap in age, knowledge, and experiences learned and acquired throughout the years before you. You are not respecting the challenges and difficulties they went through and overcame. So, to be called out on that is not only an embarrassment to the child, but also to the parents as they will be labeled as someone who are not teaching their children properly. Then, what about when you're chatting with your friends or people of the same age? Or when you turn into an adult? When speaking to people of the same age or those younger than you can normally drop the po and opo, unless if the person had been specifically introduced to you as an elder, or if your relationship had gotten closer so that the courtesies can be dropped, or if the person preferred not to be addressed with po and opo. On the flip side, being overly polite to your peers by using po and opo, even in normal everyday conversations, could be considered as alienating and distant. This might mean that you're not comfortable enough with them to drop the courtesies. Similarly, an adult using po and opo to a child who isn't using these words can be considered as a subtle reprimand on their impolite language. Most of the time though, Filipinos would still opt to be more respectful even if the age gap wasn't that wide and if the person they're speaking with is unfamiliar to them. This applies even when you turn into an adult. The only difference is that you also have to consider the other person's status and experience. So let's say that the other person is married and or have kids, and you're someone who is single and who did not have that kind of experience yet. You would usually still use po or opo when speaking to them. Or you can use the less formal ho and oho, which are generally more used by young adults to refer to those older than them. Unlike children, young adults already have lived longer and have more experience, hence they can drop the formality a little but still maintaining the politeness. The same goes when you are speaking with your coworkers and superiors. They had been working longer than you in that field and know more than you, hence using po, opo, ho, and oho is perfectly acceptable and polite. So the next time that you go to the Philippines, try to be polite to the ates and kuyas serving you in your local carinderias. You just might get an extra meat or two in your orders.